A lot of people, they ask me after I've performed, they come up to me and they ask, hey, you didn't look nervous at all up there. Wow, how do you do it? Or do you still get nervous? Or do you still get stage fright when you're up on stage? And the answer is yes, I do.
This is the story few people know. The story that nearly silenced one of the brightest voices to ever grace the stage of America's Got Talent before she even learned how to sing. Born on July 31st, 2007, in Atlanta, Georgia, Angelica Hale appeared to be a happy, thriving little girl, full of energy and promise. But in 2011, when she was just 4 years old, everything changed. Angelica was suddenly struck by a devastating illness, severe bacterial pneumonia. What began as a common respiratory infection quickly spiraled into a life-threatening battle. Her body descended into septic shock, and multiple organs began to fail, including her kidneys. Doctors rushed her into intensive care, placing her in a medically induced coma to stabilize her fragile condition. She was connected to an ECMO machine, an extreme form of life support reserved only for the most critical cases. Most children never come off of it. Angelica was on ECMO for 12 grueling days. She would spend 80 days total in the hospital. Against all odds, Angelica pulled through. Her survival was nothing short of miraculous. And while her return home on April 24, 2012, marked a joyful milestone, the road ahead was still incredibly steep. For the next year and a half, Angelica endured life tethered to dialysis machines, but her spirit, small as she was, never broke. Then, on September 13, 2013, came another turning point. In an act of profound sacrifice and love, Angelica's mother, Eva, donated her kidney to save her daughter's life. It wasn't just a medical procedure, it was a second chance, a new beginning. And though Angelica was still a long way from stardom, one thing had become clear. This little girl had a fight in her that could not be taught, a voice that the world hadn't heard yet, but one it desperately needed to. Before the standing ovations and millions of YouTube views, Angelica Hale was just a young girl with a dream, and a voice that refused to stay hidden. Long before she ever stepped onto the America's Got Talent stage, Angelica was already chasing her passion for performance across her hometown of Atlanta. While most children her age were still discovering their hobbies, Angelica had already begun making her mark in local theater. She joined various community productions, performing in plays and musicals that gave her the foundation every great entertainer needs: confidence, discipline, and presence. She wasn't just showing up, she was standing out. One of her early supporters was the Broadway Dreams Foundation, a prestigious organization that mentors and develops young artists across the country. With their guidance, Angelica sharpened her stage craft and began to understand what it meant to connect with an audience, not just to sing, but to move people. That opportunity led to one of her earliest national highlights, a stirring performance of America the Beautiful at the 2015 US Open Men's Semifinals. Before tens of thousands of tennis fans and a live TV audience, Angelica's voice soared across the stadium, capturing the hearts of all who heard it. For many, that moment was their first encounter with the girl whose voice seemed too powerful to come from someone so small. But what they didn't know was that this performance was just a preview, a rehearsal really, for something much greater. Each local show, each foundation workshop, each small spotlight in front of a hometown crowd, they were all stepping stones. And without even realizing it, Angelica Hale was already preparing herself for the moment that would change her life forever. In 2017, Angelica Hale walked onto one of the world's biggest stages, Season 12 of America's Got Talent, with a smile that masked the storm she had already survived. At just 9 years old, this petite powerhouse from Atlanta stepped in front of millions, not just to perform, but to announce a dream. She told the judges she wanted to be the next Whitney Houston, and unlike many who dream big on reality TV, Angelica had the voice, poise, and raw talent to back it up. Her song choice, Rise Up by Andra Day, a track synonymous with struggle, strength, and survival. And when Angelica began to sing, everything else disappeared. The audience fell silent. Judges leaned in. Her voice, so controlled, so soulful, filled the room with an energy that felt larger than life. By the time she reached the final note, the entire auditorium was on its feet. A standing ovation erupted. But in a twist that stunned viewers, the golden buzzer was not pressed. Still, Simon Cowell, often the most stoic and reserved judge, leaned forward and delivered a prediction that would echo throughout her career. You're going to be a star. And he wasn't wrong. Angelica didn't just capture applause, she captured hearts. Her audition went viral, garnering millions of views and igniting a global fan base. It wasn't just the performance that made her unforgettable. It was her presence, her ability to be vulnerable yet confident, young yet composed, and above all, real. That night marked the official start of Angelica Hale's rise, not just as a singer, but as a symbol of resilience, hope, and extraordinary talent. And this was only the beginning. The real magic was still to come. After stunning the judges and viewers with her unforgettable audition, Angelica Hale returned to the America's Got Talent stage during the judge cuts with something to prove, and she didn't disappoint. Performing a fiery rendition of Alicia Keys' Girl on Fire, Angelica delivered more than just flawless vocals. She delivered a message that this young girl, once fighting for her life in a hospital bed, was now commanding a global stage. The performance was electric, earning thunderous applause and leaving guest judge Chris Hardwick visibly moved. So moved, in fact, that he did what millions watching at home were begging for. He slammed the golden buzzer. Golden confetti rained down as Angelica fell to her knees, overwhelmed with emotion. That single moment catapulted her directly into the live shows and instantly became one of the most replayed scenes of the season. In the quarterfinals and semifinals, Angelica continued to deliver show-stopping performances, each more powerful than the last. She tackled challenging songs with maturity far beyond her years, always leaving judges like Simon Cowell and Howie Mandel searching for new ways to describe her brilliance. She wasn't just competing, she was redefining what was possible for a child performer. And when she made it to the finale, the stakes couldn't have been higher. Standing on that stage, Angelica had the honor of singing Stronger, What Doesn't Kill You, in a duet with none other than Kelly Clarkson. The crowd roared as the two powerhouse vocalists shared the stage, their voices blending in a moment that felt like a passing of the torch. When the results were finally revealed, Angelica stood alongside Darcy Lynn Farmer, the ventriloquist who would ultimately take home the trophy. But Angelica's reaction said everything about her character. No jealousy, no tears, just pure joy for her fellow finalist. She rushed to hug Darcy with genuine excitement, while Simon Cowell joined in to embrace Angelica with pride. Even without the title, she had already won something greater, the hearts of millions, and the promise of a future no trophy could ever guarantee. Losing the AGT title didn't slow Angelica Hale down, it launched her. In the months following her season 12 finale, Angelica transformed from a viral sensation into a full-fledged performer with a national presence. Her first major appearance post-show came alongside Darcy Lynn Farmer at the Las Vegas live show at Planet Hollywood. There, she delivered powerful renditions night after night, proving to live audiences that her televised magic was no fluke. And while many former contestants fade into obscurity, Angelica only grew brighter. One of her most celebrated performances came during the 2017 Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, where her soaring vocals echoed through the streets of New York and into homes across America. She followed this up with a heartfelt performance at the Macy's tree lighting in Atlanta, bringing her journey full circle to her hometown roots. Angelica's momentum wasn't limited to music. Her powerful backstory and stage presence made her a frequent guest at high-profile charity events. At Celebrity Fight Night, she shared the stage with legendary composer and Asia's Got Talent judge David Foster, earning standing ovations from elite audiences. But it was her advocacy work that began to define her public persona, just as much as her music. She took the stage at Toronto's Organ Project Gala in 2018, using her voice to raise awareness for organ donation, a cause deeply personal to her and her family. That same year, she was honored as a special ambassador for the National Kidney Foundation, a testament to her ability to turn personal struggle into purpose. Each stage she graced, whether for entertainment or activism, revealed a young artist who was no longer just the girl from AGT, but a role model, using her platform to inspire and educate. The curtain had closed on America's Got Talent, but for Angelica Hale, the spotlight was only getting warmer. For Angelica Hale, music has always been a gift, but advocacy became her mission. After surviving a near-fatal battle with sepsis and kidney failure as a child, Angelica understood the power of awareness and the urgency of early detection. In 2018, she took on one of the most personal and impactful roles of her career when she became the national spokesperson for the Sepsis Alliance's It's About Time campaign. This nationwide initiative aimed to educate the public about the symptoms of sepsis, a silent killer that takes more lives annually than breast cancer, prostate cancer, and AIDS combined. And Angelica wasn't just reading a script, she was living proof of why early recognition matters. Her story, one of resilience against a terrifying infection that nearly claimed her life, became a central part of the campaign's message. Through public service announcements, media appearances, and social media outreach, Angelica used her platform to speak directly to families, caregivers, and young people. Her goal was clear: to make sure no one had to go through what she and her family endured without understanding the warning signs. She appeared in educational videos, attended health summits, and became a recognizable face not just in entertainment, but in the medical advocacy world. Her voice, once used to perform chart-topping ballads, now carried urgent information that could save lives. This wasn't just another celebrity endorsement, it was a survivor stepping forward with purpose. In tandem with her work for sepsis awareness, Angelica also remained deeply involved with the National Kidney Foundation, continuing her advocacy for organ donation and support for families facing similar challenges. Her dual roles positioned her as one of the few young celebrities who didn't just entertain but educated, transforming her platform into something much bigger than fame. Through these efforts, Angelica Hale proved she wasn't just singing to be heard, she was speaking to make a difference. Just when the world thought Angelica Hale had already reached her peak, she came back stronger and bolder. In 2019, 2 years after her unforgettable debut, Angelica made a powerful return on America's Got Talent, The Champions, a global showdown of the best performers ever to grace the AG stage. This time, she wasn't the wide-eyed newcomer. She was a battle-tested star with a global fan base, a growing discography, and a mission to prove that her voice still had more to say. Walking onto the stage with confidence and composure, she chose a song that mirrored her own journey, Fight Song by Rachel Platten. From the very first note, it was clear. This wasn't a comeback. It was a statement. Angelica's performance was raw, refined, and emotional, showcasing not only her vocal range, but her evolution as an artist. The crowd erupted with applause, and the judges, particularly Howie Mandel, were visibly stunned. Without hesitation, Mandel slammed the golden buzzer, showering Angelica in gold for the second time in her journey. It was a moment that few contestants ever experience once, let alone twice. The golden confetti wasn't just a celebration, it was validation. Her return had exceeded expectations, and the world watched as this young performer reminded everyone why she was destined for greatness. As she advanced to the finals, Angelica once again stood alongside Darcy Lynn Farmer, her former AGT season finalist. But in the end, it was Shin Lim, the master illusionist, who claimed the title. Still, Angelica's impact during the Champions was undeniable. Her performance wasn't about winning a trophy. It was about reclaiming the stage on her own terms and demonstrating that true talent not only endures but grows. With her second golden buzzer, Angelica solidified her place in history, not just as a runner-up, but as a legend. With her second golden buzzer still fresh in the public's mind, Angelica Hale wasted no time turning momentum into music. In May 2019, she officially released her debut studio album titled Feel the Magic, a deeply personal collection that reflected her resilience, growth, and artistic identity. The album showcased original tracks, blending pop with inspirational themes, and included a music video that introduced fans to a more polished, professional version of the young girl they first met on AGT. It wasn't just a debut. It was a declaration that Angelica had arrived as a full-fledged recording artist. But Angelica's voice didn't just live on albums, it went viral. Later that year, she received an exclusive invitation to attend the world premiere of Disney's Frozen 2 in Hollywood, a dream come true for any young artist. There, she released her stirring cover of Show Yourself, a powerful ballad from the film that resonated deeply with fans around the world. The cover quickly went viral, amassing millions of views across platforms and once again proving that Angelica's gift wasn't confined to one stage or one show. Her ability to interpret emotionally rich songs with power and poise set her apart from others her age, and even from many adults in the industry. Capitalizing on this rise, Angelica also joined the internationally renowned Filipino boy band TNT Boys on their world tour, sharing stages across the globe and earning accolades for her live performances. Her ability to perform in front of diverse, global audiences at such a young age was nothing short of extraordinary. However, not everything was smooth sailing. Partway through the tour, Angelica was forced to withdraw due to health concerns, a difficult but necessary decision. Still, the brief setback didn't stop her momentum. By the end of the year, her name was more than just remembered, it was respected. In a landscape where child stars often fade into the background, Angelica Hale continued to rise, proving that her career wasn't a moment, it was a movement. While many child stars struggle to find their footing after a breakout moment, Angelica Hale seemed to grow stronger with every new chapter. By 2020, as the world faced an unprecedented pandemic, Angelica found creative ways to stay connected with her audience. She launched a charming live cooking show alongside her younger sister, offering fans a warm, candid look into her life beyond the stage. It was lighthearted, unscripted, and a refreshing contrast to the high-stakes performances she was known for. At a time when people were desperate for positivity, Angelica gave them exactly that, proving that her appeal went far beyond just her voice. Musically, she continued to wow audiences with carefully crafted covers, including a particularly moving duet of The Prayer with fellow AGT alum Evie Claire. Their performance, rich with emotion and vocal synergy, was met with overwhelming praise and shared widely on social media. But Angelica's ambitions were expanding beyond the microphone. She began to explore acting, lending her voice to the animated series Maya Unstoppable, where she portrayed the character Maya. It was a natural fit. Her expressive voice and dynamic presence breathed life into the character, opening the door to new opportunities in entertainment. That momentum carried into feature film as well. Angelica secured a role in the indie movie American Reject, further establishing herself as a multi-talented performer capable of commanding both screen and stage. And then, in late 2023, came one of her boldest steps yet, her Broadway debut. Angelica was cast as Trish in the upcoming Broadway-bound production of Boot the Musical, marking her official entry into the elite world of theater. It was the culmination of years of hard work, not just in front of cameras or behind studio mics, but in every quiet rehearsal and behind-the-scenes grind that led to this moment. Angelica Hale had not only survived unthinkable odds, she had grown into an artist with versatility, vision, and the courage to keep evolving. Whether through acting, singing, or even casual YouTube moments with her sister, one truth remained: she was building a legacy on her own terms. By the time most kids her age were figuring out their first high school electives, Angelica Hale was already a seasoned performer, an international advocate, and a rising mogul in the entertainment industry. Her success wasn't just measured in standing ovations, it was reflected in numbers that most adults would envy. With an estimated annual income exceeding $600,000, Angelica had built a brand that extended far beyond the stage. Her revenue streams included live concerts, recorded music, speaking engagements, brand partnerships, and an ever-growing presence on digital platforms. Her YouTube channel, known for both musical content and personal vlogs, now boasts over 3.2 million subscribers, while her Instagram following has soared past 1.4 million. These numbers aren't just vanity metrics. They represent a devoted global audience, tuned in not just to hear her sing, but to witness her journey in real time. What sets Angelica apart isn't just her talent, it's her relatability. She remains grounded, frequently interacting with fans, sharing behind-the-scenes looks into her life, and using her voice not only to entertain but to uplift. Her digital content, from heartfelt performances to lighthearted sisterly moments, has become a staple for fans of all ages. And in an age where influence often matters more than fame, Angelica is wielding hers with intentionality and purpose. She continues to advocate for health causes close to her heart, while simultaneously building a dynamic entertainment portfolio that includes music, acting, voice work, and theater. As she enters adulthood, the question is no longer, what happened to Angelica Hale? But rather, what's next? Because if her past is any indication, the future holds limitless potential. She's not just the girl who survived, not just the girl who sang. Angelica Hale is an artist, an advocate, and a young woman whose story is still unfolding. And the next chapter might be her most powerful yet. Angelica Hale's story isn't just one of survival, it's a blueprint for what it means to rise above. From the edge of life and death to standing ovations on the world's biggest stages, she's turned every challenge into a catalyst, every obstacle into an opportunity. She didn't win America's Got Talent, but she won something far more enduring, a place in the hearts of millions and a platform that she continues to use for good. Whether she's performing in a packed theater, lending her voice to a cartoon heroine, or simply cooking with her sister on YouTube, Angelica remains a symbol of hope, heart, and human potential. So if you've ever felt like the odds were stacked against you, remember Angelica Hale. Remember that your story doesn't have to be defined by what happens to you, but by how you rise after. And if you're inspired by her journey, don't just keep it to yourself. Like this video, subscribe for more powerful stories, and share it with someone who needs a reminder that the impossible is just the starting line. Because Angelica Hale didn't just survive, she soared. And something tells us she's just getting started.